Let me tell you, yesterday I had the distinct pleasure of doing a virtual cooking lesson with Chef Dave of Cajun 180. Um, we FaceTimed throughout the whole cooking process. He taught me how to make Cajun Sticky Chicken. I'm gonna recreate that video for you today. I'm gonna recreate the recipe, and record it so you guys can then follow along and see how easy it really is to cook Cajun. As we're going throughout the process, we're going to talk about the ingredients. These are things that Chef Dave taught me. He taught me, what's the purpose of putting the yellow pepper in there versus a green bell pepper, the onion, the celery, actually the leaves from the celery, different things. We're going to lollipop our chicken legs. I'll show you that. It's just really gonna, I'm gonna try to explain the way Chef Dave did, how all of these flavors are gonna come together and just make an awesome tasting dish. So, want to run through some of the ingredients we're gonna be using. Of course, we got our chicken. I got, make sure you have boned, so you want the bone in. I got 4 chicken thighs. I have 8 chicken legs I'm gonna be using. They all are bone in, they have skin on them. You're gonna need your seasonings. I use Cajun 180 seasonings. Let me tell you what, I used to be a huge Slap Your Mama fan. A friend of mine, Dwight, recommended this product to me. I ordered some, and then when I got my product, Chef Dave with Cajun 180, actually, did a video phone call. He called me. And I compared this product to other products that I use, but you guys are free to use whatever you want. But the sodium level in this and just the flavors in this, this is Cajun Gold. It's pretty much a replacement for your Cajun seasonings, like your Slap Your Mamas, your Tonys, things like that. And then this here is the Cajun Trinity, and it basically takes all of the components of the Cajun Trinity, the celery, the green peppers, the garlic, and all of that, the onion, and mixes it all up in a powder form so we can sort of recreate that. We're also going to be using 4 yellow onions. Make sure they're pretty decent size, because you need a lot of onions for this. That's where the stickiness really comes from in this recipe. These onions, they will start breaking down and releasing the sugar, and that sugar will start making it sticky, and that's where you get the term sticky chicken, because that gravy is going to get so thick and sticky it's going to actually stick to your chicken. We got the yellow bell peppers, 2 green bell peppers, we got celery, and we will use the leaves and stuff like that on them as well, so make sure you have those. We have a stick and a half of butter, chicken stock, and we will also be using some all-purpose flour to coat the chicken in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prep all of this stuff, get it ready to go, and we'll come back and we'll go from that point. I don't want to bore you guys and make you sit here and watch me chop up vegetables. It's pretty painful. I'm not not a knife expert yet. So I'm going to get to doing that. We will come back and we'll have more from Cajun cooking in Colorado. Alright everybody, we are back. Got everything diced up. Just want to show you something on your peppers and celery and stuff like that. You should probably get them so they're about that size. You don't want them really big. The bigger they are, the longer they take to cook and soften up and release their flavor. So the onions, not really too bad. They don't need to be super small. Don't have huge chunks, but just diced up fairly decent. Because these are going to cook a long time, and they're going to do a lot of breaking down and everything. Now, I talked about lollipopping the chicken legs, and find my tongs here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what I was talking about. See right here, basically you take this lower section of the leg and you cut that all off, and that does a couple things for you during the cooking process. One, it allows the marrow, the bone marrow to get out, which gives you a lot of flavor, and it helps that meat sort of release off the bone for you. So the next step now is we're gonna get this stuff seasoned up, get it ready to cook. So first thing you're gonna do is take your Cajun Trinity, if you have it. If not, you know, if you have something else that's sort of like this, if not, I mean, you may just go straight to the Cajun Gold, but I definitely highly recommend that you invest in this stuff. This is very good. And another thing Chef Dave taught me yesterday was that you can take this Trinity, and you can for every cup of uncooked rice put 1 tablespoon of Trinity, mix it in with the dry rice before you put in your water. Mix it up really good together so it's all blended in there, and then you cook your rice just as normal after that with this in there. Boy, I did that yesterday. Great flavor to your rice. Then next thing you're taking your Cajun seasoning. Like I said, I'm hooked on this stuff now, so take my Cajun Gold, sprinkle it on here. And you do this to your taste. You put in how little or how much you want. Remember, like I said earlier, this stuff is very, very low in sodium compared to other products. I'm not saying it doesn't have any sodium content, but it is pretty low compared to everything else. So then go ahead and flip your chicken here. And then we're gonna coat it as well. Now this lollipopping of the chicken is not the easiest thing in the world if you've never done it. Maybe one day I can talk Chef Dave into coming on and doing a little tutorial for us on how to easily lollipop your chicken legs. Also, another thing he told me yesterday is if you do some chicken legs like this, lollipop them, spread on some of this Cajun Trinity, throw them on the grill, you know, let it cook, and then after you're done, take them off, throw on a little bit of barbecue sauce, and put that back on the grill, and then let that barbecue sauce sort of caramelize. And he said it's a pretty decent tasting barbecue chicken leg, so I'm gonna definitely have to try that one of these days. So now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and add some flour, and if you have something like this, you know, sifter or something, go ahead and use that because it sort of helps control how much flour you put on there. You don't want to just dump tons of it on there, but you want to dust it. We're going to go ahead and fire up your pot, get some heat going under there. So now what we want to do is make sure you got a pot that's going to withstand a lot of heat, because you got to cook this on high temperature almost the entire meal. So go ahead and get your oil in here, and like I said earlier, you just need enough oil to cover the bottom of your pot. You don't want like a swimming pool in there, because you got to remember your chicken's also going to release some fats and stuff during the cooking process, so you don't want to have too much in there, but just get that so it's, you know, sort of, hopefully you can see that in there. Not sure how you can really see it, but I maybe have about 1/4 of an inch in the pot right now. So what you want to do is you want to bring it up to a high temperature. One trick Chef Dave taught me yesterday is take a pinch of your flour, small one, doesn't have to be big, throw it in there, and you can see right now it's not really doing anything. When this oil heats up, it will get hot enough. When you put that in there, that flour is going to sort of bubble and foam, so you'll know then that your pot is definitely hot enough. So I'm going to just make another comment out there. I know I've made this comment before on some of my cooking videos. These Magnolites distribute heat very hot, and these handles and the sides and everything else get extremely hot, so please, please, please make sure if you have something like this, you're using a hot pad. You definitely don't want to burn yourself in the process of this cooking. What I'm going to do while this heat is coming up, we're going to go through a little thing that Chef Dave taught me yesterday, and we're going to like sort of taste our vegetables, and you can sort of understand. And he actually did that with me on the seasonings himself. He had me just take a little pinch of each, put it right on the palate, and so I could see the different things. But the green pepper, if you just take, one right here, take a green pepper. Yeah, remember that. You got a little sweetness, a little bit of bitterness there at the end, but it does have some sweetness. Now take a yellow pepper, and then yellow pepper is a lot more juicy, a lot more sweet. And you just take a piece of celery. Now you can notice the celery, and last, if you have some of the leaves from the celery that you cut up, then pop one of these in your mouth. And the reason we did these last because this is going to be the most bitter thing you taste. I'm going to go ahead and test the flour again. Now you see that? You see it? And you can hear it sort of popping a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and lay our chicken in here. You can just hear that going now, so you know your oil is definitely warm enough. You want to make sure that your pot is big enough to handle what you're cooking. Yesterday, I went with my enameled cast iron, and it definitely was not big enough to handle this. Chef Dave actually had me in the process switch over to my Magnolite through the process. I thought the Magnolite would be a little overkill because of how big it is. But you want these things to have room so they can cook and not be sitting on top of each other. So, and get some nice popping and everything else. Remember, keep your heat high. Most of this dish, like I said, is going to be cooked on a high temperature. And be patient. Don't rush this. I mean, you need some time for these flavors to blend together. So don't just say, "Oh, that's good enough. Flip your chicken and that's it." Because you're going to lose out on the releasing of those flavors if you do that. Then you can see how this is sort of starting to get golden. You definitely want it darker than that, and like I said, you want it to get to a point where it looks like it's starting, I wouldn't say burn's a bad term because we don't like to burn our food, but it's going to sort of start, getting a little, maybe a charred appearance on the bottom. You definitely want that. So, boy, tell you what, if you guys could smell this right now, the flavors, you can smell the flavors of that sauce. Not the sauce, the spices just coming up and mixing, and sort of the rawness with the chicken, and not really rawness, but just chicken in general. You know how it smells when it's cooking. So you're getting these flavors that are starting to mix up. One thing Chef Dave told me is you're gonna treat this like you're building a cake almost. You're gonna layer a cake, basically. So you're gonna layer flavors into this dish. So make sure that you have a decent sized bowl to put your chicken in, because when it's done, we're gonna remove it. So one thing you wanna do too is take this chicken, sort of use it as a sponge, almost, to sort of scrape along the bottom of the pot. That'll sort of help it keep some stuff from sticking on there. We want a little bit of that on there. Chef Dave gave me a term. I'm not even gonna attempt to. What it's grimace? I don't know. I'll ask Chef Dave to explain it a little bit more. But basically, what it is the good stuff on the bottom of the pot, your burnt pieces or your crust in there. So now you can see that starting to golden up a little bit more. You just want to keep moving these around a little. Like I said, patience. But I'll tell you what, now see how we're starting to get a little bit of that blackness on there. That's sort of what you're going for, a little bit more. But just like I said, just keep scraping it around. You definitely don't want it sticking to the pot, because you definitely don't want to rip the skin off of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and put these, there you go. I'm going to start flipping some of these over, get it going on the other side. You're really just getting a nice golden brown on the outside for now. We're not cooking it to doneness right now. That's going to happen later. But definitely, because this chicken, after we take it out and do some other processes, we'll put the chicken back in there, and it will cook some more, tenderize, cook, and you'll see later as we get into the video more that the chicken's gonna almost start to fall off its own, and that's really how you want it. That's where you're really gonna enjoy your tender chicken and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this brown, and then once it gets to a point where it's ready to take out of the pot, I'll go ahead and start recording again. So we'll be right back. Thank you. All right, everyone, we're back. Now you see how this chicken is. I pretty much flipped it, and it's looking that way on both sides. So we're about at a point where we want to take this out. So go ahead and just do a final, rub it along the bottom, just loosen this stuff up, and then let's get your bowl, put your chicken in here. Now look at all that goodness you have there on the bottom of your pot. So now the next thing is a stick and a half of butter. So you're gonna go ahead and put that in. Let this melt all the way down. It's gonna sort of add some creaminess and richness to your sauce. Get our butter melted down. And now we're going to start adding some craziness flavors. So what's going in now are the onions. So get your onions, put them all in there. And just start stirring them around like this. You're going to want to stir them to start getting all that stuff that's stuck to the bottom, start absorbing that into these onions. They're gonna release their sugar when they start to caramelize, and that's gonna be a key ingredient to making the sticky chicken. So you need that, but you want to cook these and brown them and caramelize them. So it's about a 20 to 30 minute process. Okay, we got the onions still in here cooking. You can see they're starting to get a nice brown color to them. And just keep stirring them, getting that sticky stuff or the good stuff off the bottom of the pot. And we want to keep cooking these until these onions caramelize. Okay, everybody, we got our onions that are, pretty dark. You can definitely smell the flavors all combining here. They're pretty much caramelized. They're you see this starting to, some of your liquid starting to absorb and stuff. What we're going to do now is we are going to take the chicken and return it back to the pot. So just lay it in here on top of the onions, scatter it around. Now you'll notice in your pot you're going to have all this juice here. Back in it goes. So anything that's in there, scrape it out, get it back into the pot. So that's just flavoring there. So get it back in there. Now what we want to do, we want to sort of stir this chicken and onions together, get them good and mixed up. You can just keep stirring these occasionally. Let this stuff start to thicken up and get more of that stickiness released from the onions. So you can really just start to smell these flavors starting to incorporate with each other. Like we said at the beginning, or Chef Dave told me, we're pretty much layering all these flavors together. And as you're going along, you can end up with some of that goodness on the bottom again. Make sure you get that scraped off there. Definitely want that off there. So we'll just keep this going for a little bit. Getting this stuff to thicken up a little bit, and then we'll go on to the next step. So we will be back. Alright, so what we have here is, you can see that the stuff's starting to stick to the chicken. That's where we get our sticky chicken from. It's starting to stick. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and throw in some of the next layer. So what we're going to do is we have our green onion, our green peppers, our yellow peppers, and our celery. So take about half of each one, and find a place to just pour it in. You know, you don't want to throw them in there on top of each other. So you put your green peppers there, and just put some yellow peppers over here, and then let's put some celery over here. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to start stirring and getting this stuff all mixed in. And we want to now we're adding another layer to the flavoring cake. So we got the vegetables that are going to start, you know, releasing their flavors. So just go ahead and get them good mixed in there. Leave them in there for a while. As you can see, some of the stuff's starting to fall off. I mean, it's getting to the point where some of this chicken is good. If you wanted right now, you could take and taste that piece. So, the flavors are good. So, but you want to taste it along the way, just see what the flavors are doing to everything, or the ingredients, what flavoring components and stuff they're adding in. So, okay, as you can see, everything's starting to cook down. So what we want to do now is take your chicken stock, either homemade chicken stock or the store-bought chicken stock. Make sure you use stock though, not broth. I think it has a little better flavor. So basically what you want to do, sort of spread your chicken out so you sort of see what you're doing. You want to add enough of this stock so your chicken is covered to about the halfway point. Go ahead and get this mixing. And let's let this stuff keep cooking. Now you want to sort of watch it, because your gravy's going to start thickening here pretty soon. But you want to stir it, you know, frequently, and then check the consistency of your gravy. You want your gravy to be fairly thick. I mean, on a 1 to 10, I'd say maybe 7 or 8. I don't know. I mean, now if you need to, as it cooks down and you need to add a little bit more chicken stock, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But let's go ahead and let this cook down a little bit more, and we will be back. Alright everybody, as you can see, we really got the gravy going here now. It's getting thick. You can see it's starting to stick to the chicken, and that's definitely what you want there. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and throw in another layer of flavoring. So we're going to take a handful of green bell peppers, just shake them around. Get a handful of the yellow. A handful of the celery. And at this point here, if you want, you can take a little bit of the leaves that you had and just sprinkle them in there. this stuff all up, get it all together again. Boy, look at that. Look at that go. Hopefully Chef Dave's proud of what I'm doing here. This here is pretty much authentic. At this point, turn it down, get it down on low or simmer. Keep, stirring this, get this gravy, it'll thicken up just a little bit more. Just want to get this in, let these veggies cook a few minutes, not too long, because you really want the freshness of them as that final component of your flavoring layers. So, but as you can see, this is sticking to the chicken, and that's exactly what you want. You got some gravy here that you can use. So I did not make rice today. So what you do though is take yourself some rice and put it on a plate. Take yourself a piece of chicken or two, stick it in there, cover it with gravy, and you made yourself some Cajun Sticky Chicken. Hope you guys enjoy it. Try the recipe. Like I said at the beginning, don't rush things because you want those flavors to get together. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Leave comments, questions, leave them in there. If I can't answer them, maybe Chef Dave can. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you guys make this for yourself. It's a very good, hearty dish. I think you'll enjoy it. Alright, thank you all. This is David with Cajun Cooking in Colorado. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time when we do our next cooking adventure.